the relationship that you develop, I guess I don't want to make it so, I guess it is personality based in a big part, right? I mean, not everybody's going to click with everybody, but
Yeah.
I clicked with you,
Yeah.
and you're at first, I remember when I first got you on, right? I'm like, oh boy, this guy's too much, you know?
He's too
He's too positive.
energetic.
He's too energetic. He's too positive. This isn't going to work, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh no, this is exactly what I need, right? Like, and actually, it's perfect, right? I mean, and that positivity and that energy was just what I needed, right? And it's not just like, but there's so much more to it. Just that's a simplification, right? But
Yeah.
uh, that was the first impact, right? It's like, oh my god, this isn't going to happen. This is too much. This is like this is phony, right? This is not. This is but it's real, right? And
Yeah.
that's what makes it, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it. Then after a while, I'm like, damn, Scott's pretty cool, right? This is at first it's like Scott, that's too much, but now it's like Scott, no, that's Scott, and that's
Yeah.
it's not. There's no BS there. There's
Yeah.
that energy and that positivity is who he is, and who doesn't want that, right? Yeah, that's fine. Like if you ask me to, like, okay, 30 seconds to talk about what it's
No,
like,
no.
well, that'll
Let's just be casual, you know?
okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, Steve. So we started this journey, yeah, actually at the beginning of 2020, basically. So
Yeah,
you were looking for a coach. Can you tell us a
yeah,
little bit more about what you were looking for when you first found abundance coaching?
sure. Uh, it's been a while, so if I remember, what really attracted me to you, uh, a lot it was I guess in a word was abundance, right? I mean, I was in a point in I've been thinking about for a long time, right? About uh, why my life, or I had issues that you realize after a while, or I guess anybody does at a certain point in their life, whether they're 20 or 40 or 50, there are moments when you sort of realize, come to a realization that you have a mindset, or you're getting in your own way in a way, right? So I was getting in my own way in a lot of ways, and I had some unresolved sort of like issues that I couldn't get my mind around. I just it's the power that I had with you initially. I'm going back and I'm thinking about my words, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I think I was sort of like I was at a low point, and I really needed something that was going to move me forward. I wasn't sure how it was going to move me forward. I just noted that I was stuck in a pattern, and I needed to break it. And and the idea of abundance was something that was so uh, attractive,
Mm-hmm.
something I wanted so badly, that then I saw like uh, the when the website, now is that the most sexy website? It's not the most current website, or it's like whatever, because I work with websites. So,
Yep.
but when I looked at the actual content and the words, and it was very, because I've been looking around for a while at that point, right? And I couldn't really find exactly what I was looking for, but there was something in the wording on your website, uh, not just like, you can find abundance in a lot of things, right? But there's something
Mm-hmm.
about the wording, the copy that was used, uh, the values that were being displayed, that really got my attention. I said, okay, this actually is speaking to me. This is
Awesome.
sort of like, this is where I want, this is where I think I can find what I'm looking for, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just it's sometimes when you're looking around, you go, because it's like for like I should be looking for white tennis shoes, right? And there's like
Mm-hmm.
a gazillion white tennis shoes,
Yeah.
right? And you keep looking, and you'd be amazed at how many you look through, and then all of a sudden you find the shoe. It's like, and it's not, it's just like the perfect shoe for you, right? It's
Yeah.
what you're looking for. It's not the shoe for everybody, but that shoe is like, wow, that's exactly what I was looking for. It's canvas, it's got whatever, it's you know, everything, right? Sustainably made, whatever it is, right? So
Yeah.
it's all there, right? And that was with the website. I said, hey, actually, this is hitting all the points that I'm really interested in. and I think I can trust them. If I guess part of it was a trust because the website wasn't too slick. So
Mhm.
I said, okay, I can trust this website. I can trust the people here. Uh, and they're speaking to values that I want to have as my own, right? I
Nice.
don't have those values. I recognize those values and I see them as powerful values, but they're not in my life at the moment and I want them in my life, right? So
That's awesome.
hopefully interacting with this these people, I'll be able to. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but
Yeah,
hopefully, whatever that their beliefs are, will through osmosis and time and repetition and practice will become a part of me, right? So I will be able to incorporate their beliefs into my uh, mindset and beliefs and values, and
that's
I'll
awesome.
be where I need to be, right? So I'm not where I need to be, but hopefully they're speaking to where I want to go. So I have faith that they're going to get me there. Right.
That's awesome. And you know
Yeah.
what's fascinating about what you're saying is that I never heard this expanded version yet. You told me originally,
Right.
some of this, but what's
Yeah.
fascinating is that we have delved into your values and
Mm,
mindset, and
yeah.
even today we're talking about abundance
Yeah. Yeah.
and how you're more than enough, for example,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
wave and scarcity analogies.
Mm,
So how have some of those principles and I guess the coaching journey been
yeah.
supportive for you, and maybe even some of the content being supportive for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've never, I've tried coaching once before and it was okay, but obviously it wasn't enough because I stopped and now I started again. Right. And what's been really surprising to me is like I've had some really powerful um I don't want to say revelations. That sounds a little bit too much, but maybe they were uh powerful sort of moments where things sort of like something as simple and the power of something as simple as connecting with a word, right?
Yeah,
Like I still go back to like talking about resilience, right?
yeah,
Now resilience, okay, that's a word to me. But when we got to
yeah.
looking at it through the idea of like composure
Mm.
and and that was like, oh, for some reason that really resonated with me. And then like, oh yeah, I've been watching my dad lose composure for years,
Yeah.
and it's not good. And I don't want to continue with that loss of composure because it's not cool, and
Hmm.
it's not the way I want to live my life. So, and it's just discussing that with you, just sort of like I don't know why, but it just sort of like really sort of like was something got traction with me, right? So finding those little things
Yeah.
that have allowed me to get traction, right? And even labeling, right? I can hear about there's all these things, right? That it's like coaching is like the thing is we all know what we need to do, right?
Hmm.
Everybody knows what is involved and where they need to go, but they can't get there because you need somebody to help you with the heavy lifting, right? You got to do the heavy lifting, and you need somebody sort of like maybe to help you uh, do the heavy lifting, right? So it's sort of like guidance and support and a little and tweaking, right? To get that work done, right? Because it's like, yeah, it's so important to find that person to be alongside you to because everybody the basic pieces everybody's aware of, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's sort of
sure.
aware of like, I
We need
mean, it's
accountability. We need
yeah,
support. Of
yes,
course.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's not like anybody could do that, right? I
Hmm.
mean, it's not like, oh, because you don't get that with I don't have conversations with my friends like I have with you, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't happen like that, right?
Yeah.
They don't happen. So and you don't you need to have them, right?
Hmm.
I mean, and they're also not something I'm even like it's like teaching your daughter to drive type of thing, right? It
Hmm.
doesn't work, right? So you
Yeah.
don't teaching somebody to drive. You can. I have all the capability to teach her how to drive, but the relationship, and it just all these things just get in the way, and it just doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
It's not the relationship. The relationship I have with you is about it's about it's about the journey, right? Is it about
Yeah.
this development and getting me to
Yeah.
this point, and that's why it works, right? And that's
Yeah.
why it's yeah, that's what I value about it so much. Because I mean, the and and like reflection, like none of this has ever been. I've never really done it, right? I've said, okay, I'm introverted,
Mhm.
but yeah, now I understand the difference between introversion and reflection
Yeah.
because they're completely different. Uh, and one has value and the other one, so, right? I mean, there's a lot of pitfalls in introversion. Uh, but yeah, the ability to reflect is powerful and to uh, come up with a decent, I guess, revelations or outcomes from those reflections
Mm.
is not simple. That's where the coaching comes in, right? You can sit there and reflect and do it. I mean, any reflection's good, but you could come up with the wrong sort of reflection, right? And then just
Sure.
sort of
Yeah.
a self-affirming, like, oh, you're sort of like just affirming the garbage, and
Yes.
now you're leaving with a reflection that is just not going to help you at all,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, that's where the coaching comes in, right? I mean, the importance of that guidance, right?
Yeah.
And just somebody to do you don't do the repetitions, right? I
Hmm.
mean, your own is just like it's so many excuses to not do this, right?
Hmm.
The work, right? There's so many excuses to like I gotta go do the groceries.
Yeah.
There we go. You
That's
know, so
right.
it's got other things to do. So I've lost focus of what your question was. So
Oh,
sure I
that's
lost.
awesome. You did great. The last question I think might be relevant in that there'll be somebody watching that's watched to this point,
Mm,
and I wonder if you could speak to that person. Maybe they resonated with some of the qualities that you said that you had. Maybe they resonate with even having a level of a desire to have more abundance or to figure their
yeah,
values out or have somebody to talk with, or maybe they're a bit
yeah,
introverted
yeah,
and you've experienced this journey of support for a while.
yeah.
What would you maybe say to them about the actual coaching relationship,
Mm,
me and you,
yeah,
and if you could speak to that person?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's it's very like I'm not sure how to put this. I mean, the relationship that you develop, I guess I don't want to make it so. I guess it is personality based a big part, right? I mean, not everybody's going to click with everybody, but
Yeah.
I clicked with you,
Yeah.
and you're at first. I remember when I first got you on, right? I'm like, oh boy, this guy's too much, you know.
He's too
He's too
energetic.
he's too energetic. He's too positive. This isn't going to work, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh no, this is exactly what I need, right? Like, and actually, it's perfect, right? I mean, and that positivity and that energy was just what I needed, right? And it's not just like, but there's so much more to it. Just that's a simplification, right? But
Yeah.
uh, that was the first impact, right? It's like, oh my god, this isn't going to happen. This is too much. This is like this is phony, right? This is not. This is but it's real, right? And
Yeah.
that's what makes it, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it. Then after a while, I'm like, damn, Scott's pretty cool, right? This is at first it's like Scott, that's too much, but now it's like Scott, no, that's Scott, and that's
Yeah.
it's not. There's no BS there. There's
Yeah.
that energy and that positivity is who he is, and who doesn't want that, right? I
Yeah.
mean, come on, seriously, honestly, you can try to be maybe if you're got this affectation of trying to be too cool, maybe then you think,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's just that doesn't work. That's toxic positivity or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever kind of garbage you're going to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, no, that's actually not. All right, that's you want to
Hmm.
get through life. That's the way you get through life, right? I
Hmm.
mean, there's no dismissing that bad things happen. It's just like we're not going to focus on them, right? We're going to
Yeah.
acknowledge them. We don't dismiss them, but uh, like the idea of abundance is we accept that, but we just have so much of the other, right? So
Yeah.
much of the good stuff that uh, and we bring so much and we invite so much of the good stuff into our life that that part of the life, right? The the struggles and the not so pleasant things that happen around us and to us can be diluted, right?
Yeah.
And their impact and their
Yeah.
on your thinking, on your life, on your relationships
Yeah.
is not going to poison them, right? Because I mean that's
Hmm.
the problem when you have these negative things happening and you allow them too much power, or
Hmm.
you just the balance is wrong, right? It's about the
Yeah.
balance, right? The
Yeah.
balance and if that balance is wrong, then that negativity will poison everything, right?
Yeah.
Like really everything around you, your relationships, your work, your life, right? So everything
Yeah.
in your life will just be ruined, right? And you're going to
Yeah.
see it being ruined, right? And you're just going to, and you know it's being ruined, and you know why it's being ruined, but
Yes.
you keep watching it happening, right? And it's
Yes.
like, well, take action, right?
Hmm.
The only way to take action is to recognize that you can't do it alone, that you need in the beginning, you definitely need somebody to help you uh, practice and get that awareness and yeah, and the ability to move forward and to address these things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Well,
yeah,
I hope that you feel grateful, the person that's watching, for Steve's
yeah,
testimony and that he spoke to you.
yeah,
And Steve, what I also want to acknowledge is when you first described what you saw on the website
yeah,
and that you wanted to own some of those values. Well, you're
yeah,
describing it right now. You're describing
yeah,
how you're owning
yes,
abundance,
yeah,
and that's the dilution that gets rid of the poison of
yes, yeah,
scarcity.
yeah,
And some of
yeah,
these principles are soaking in with the values. So
yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much for sharing. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for for
Our
speaking
pleasure.
to the person as well. It's been
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
no, it's a journey worth doing, right? And it's a process. It takes time. I don't feel like I've got obviously, right? It's a process, like you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So it's taking time, and I feel like I'm getting there, and yeah, it's a lot of fun to get there, right? So,
Yeah.
and it's and doing it with you, I have the confidence I'll get there. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.